Hello and welcome to Mad Al Goes Racing, and today we're back in Automobilista 2 having a look at the newest beta release, which is the 0.9.5.0. Now there is probably going to be another one dropped tomorrow morning before it goes out to EA, depending on what's in it. Might or might not produce something else then, but we'll go through the change log for the current release and a couple of bits and pieces that might be interesting to certain people. And we'll start off with the UI. Now we've fixed the time trial pause menu leaderboard not displaying correctly. If you go back a few weeks, I think it was the first week or the second week of the time trials, there was an issue whereby you thought you'd set a time. When you came back in the pause menu, there was nothing showing. That's been fixed. Added identification for dedicated servers in browser list. I suppose I better mention this up front rather than wait until later. The Dedi tool is now available from Steam. More information to follow soon. Well, we haven't had the more information yet, so that's all I can tell you for now. As and when there is more information available, I will see about telling you. Multiplayer sessions now default to Cockpit view in race session countdown to avoid a bug leading to players being stuck in TV cam. Well, basically they've changed what the default is, so now if it does change to something else, you'll be in the cockpit. So if you don't normally drive in a cockpit, you're just going to be in a different I don't like this view, maybe. Or maybe I'll just encourage you to get into the cockpit and get the immersion factor. Fixed monitor camera switcher not working after changing cars. Right, if you're monitoring a session and looking at other cars, seeing where they're doing, what they're doing, whatever, if you changed the camera, when you changed to watch a different car, you couldn't then change the camera. Fixed. Force feedback, there's a couple of interesting bits in here. Steering rack damper no longer passes through the low force boost setting for more consistent damping. Well, I can't say I've noticed a lot, but there again, cheap wheel. Added scrub function to rear tyres. Apparently that's currently zeroed out, so I'm assuming they're going to add some extra bits and pieces to either allow you to edit it from a couple of sliders or some instructions on how to do it in the custom. Fixed error in parking force script. That's the old when you're standing still, the tyre tries to resist you turning it, so the tyre sort of twists, and obviously when you turn the wheel and let go, it springs back a little bit, but not all the way, unless you've only moved it a little bit and haven't actually managed to turn the tyre at all. Whether it was not turning enough, turning too much, had too much resistance, not enough resistance, I don't know, but they fixed it. Adjusted lock stop strength. There were several wheels that were lacking lock stops. They've added those in, and some of them were still a little bit weak, maybe too strong, so bit of an adjustment. Fixed issue with recently added FFB filter occasionally behaving unpredictably. I think there might have been a few people saying they were getting weird knocks and jolts and funny things happening from that. Fine-tuned all car-specific max force and smoothing levels to suit a revised system, bug fixes and latest tyre physics developments. Again, that comes down to balancing. Physics, a revised tread. Just make sure I haven't missed something. Tyre tread physics for Opalas, Formula V, Formula V12, Formula 10, sorry, V10, Caterham's, Arc Camaro and Super V8. Slight adjustments to all wet tyre compounds. We'll have a look at some wet tyres in a little while. Raised carcass load stiffness for incremental tyre pressure adjustments for Formula Classic, all gens. Formula V12, Caterham's, Arc Camaro, Super V8. Well, presumably that's so that the stiffness according to the pressure was slightly altered. obviously part of what gives the tyre its stiffness is how much you pump it up, so presumably they've made some changes there. Enabled anti-storm for cars with modern semi-automatic boxes and carts with torque converters or centrifugal clutches. Yeah, if you drop your car and it hasn't got a clutch, you want it to do something sensible like automatically apply it. So a few cars have had that done. Revised engine inertia for V8, V6 engines. Is that all V8s and V6s? Who knows? Reduced default steering lock for all Formula cars, prototypes and Super V8. Basically, some people say they just to get around hairpins and things. You want more of a just a over the top hand over hand job. Which will help. It does mean that they do feel a little bit more twitchy. So some people go too twitchy and probably change it back, but you have the option. IIyama revised rear wing aero efficiency. Well, that's got too much drag, too much downforce. MCR S2000 revised rear wing aero efficiency. Same thing. Formula Ultimate revised front suspension damper rates, diffuser yaw sensitivity. Again, that's one of those, if you're going sideways, should it help the car straighten out again? Or should it just go, get past a certain point, oh dear, you've lost all your downforce, goodbye. A stiffer default front arb for P1 prototypes, Formula V, Formula Racer. Formula V fixed front left rebounder damper range, presumably the force was unbalanced. There's a Star Wars joke in there somewhere. Hot cars adjusted track width, height offset default setup. Formula Racer adjusted diffuser centre of pressure default car start setting. I assume they've moved it backwards or forwards a bit to rebalance the car a bit more, possibly from some of the other changes they've made. Caster setting should make a huge difference, but may make the force feedback a little bit heavier or possibly lighter, depending upon which way they're going. I seem to recall it felt a little bit light. Might be my imagination. Formula Classic Gen 1 and 2 revised aero balance. Again, could have shifted it anywhere. Adjusted default tyre pressures and ride heights. That might be across the border. It might have been applied to the Formula Classic Gen 1 and 2. You'll never know. AI, further calibrated AI performance and rolling resistance for all cars. Improved AI pit lane manoeuvrability. Presume that's to help them not crash into the wall as they're trying to get out of their pit boxes. Because that could cause a major cluster. Reduced aggression scalar and brake performance for classic cars, club cars, GT and prototypes. So hopefully they'll be a little bit closer to the human element. Fixed AI tendency to oscillate steering erratically running down long straights. Yeah, there's some really weird stuff going on where you get beside a car and its front wheel's doing this. Yeah. You think that can't be right. Fixed Rocco P3 excessive AI straight speed. Apparently it was a bit of a rocket ship. Reduced thresholds for AI to attempt overtaking in improbable circumstances. Yeah, you don't want it diving up down a gap that small up inside because you've gone halfway around a corner with a very small mistake. What you want it to do is, when you've cocked up big time and left a car plus width on the inside, it to go, I'm having that, but only when it's sensible to do so. Further reduced AI aggression scalers and brake power. Further reduced AI overtaking boost under braking. You telling me they'll be cheating? Audio. Formula V10 adjusted traction control sounds. It's a lot more obvious when you're on the traction control now. It's almost a bit crackly, not in a bad way, but it's got that sort of classic Formula V10 rattly crackle as you're trying to get the power down. Sounds fine. Sigma P1 revised engine sounds, engine / turbo / blow off volume balanced. Tracks updated live track rating groove shader to become more visible as track rubbers in. So once you've got your rubber on, dear boy, you'll be able to tell. Vehicles, further revisions to visual brake glow ranges. Formula Rita revised liveries and added different carbon materials, stickers and logos. T-Cam colour, spec map for all cars. Formula Trainer added suspension animation, external only at the moment. I would show you, but it's so hard to see. It's a lot easier to see if it was done so you could actually see, like, there's the front wheel there, and you could see that the wheel and everything's all connected up. All you can see is things bouncing about and all staying together, but you can't really see the individual motion. And I tried sort of a zoomed in camera and used the old Control K move there. There's just too much movement and everything to actually make it so it's really obvious what's going on. It's just, instead of the suspension arm staying still, and you can see where like the pivot points are moving up and down, and the arm staying still. Now everything seems to move together, but it's a bit difficult to see. Formula Trainer new liveries, updates, redesign. That's numbers 1 through 20, 25, 26, 33. Right. Just to show you the new liveries, because there are some quite nice ones in there. If I just go Formula Trainer and livery select, we've got we'll do a quick flick through. They're all nicely subtle, nothing too in your face, but a nice selection. And the default one is nice little black, white and grey number. There we go. But what I thought we'd do was have a few laps driving around the Montreal Historic in a storm, just for a laugh, and see how much of a prat I am when it comes to driving in shite conditions. Because I guarantee this is going to be terrible, but it should give somebody a laugh. I was going to read a couple of other bits and pieces, wasn't I? Oh yes, forgot all about that. What was I about to say? Yeah, there's some blurb at the top here. 3D animations for wipers, suspension, drivers and other movable car parts are finally beginning to come in, although only one minor item added for deployment animation suspension arms for Formula Trainer from external view. All remaining exports should flow very quickly from here. As I said, yeah, they've added the Formula Trainer only from an external sort of like chase view. Can't really see it. Tried, failed. I'm a failure. But otherwise, hopefully once they've got a few more that are obvious from other positions, it's almost a bit strange, like, well, why do you need to do it from each position? Because obviously there's something, sometimes you don't have all the car, so sometimes you've got like the bit behind you that you can't actually see is not really there, so you get, it's not the same model, so you have to do the animation separately for different versions. So a bit of a pain. It would be nice if you could just do like, this is the car, these are the animations, and just move your camera to where it needs to be depending upon whether you want to chase view, but then you end up with a load of model you don't need. Swings and roundabouts. On the AI side, we haven't yet concluded implementing the new AI strength logic, but at around 100/50 aggression, it's approaching a good level of calibration. By next week, we hope to include the new logic so that gives more consistent results across AI strength range, which will be good. Because I don't know whether I keep picking dodgy combinations, but the sort of 150 I'm struggling with, so maybe I'm just getting old and slow. For the physics FFB combo, a lot of fine tuning. Have I just is something, no. Fine tuning, provide another good step forward all around, with the handling for most cars now pretty representative of their version 1.0 target. From now on, most of the physics work will concentrate on reviewing fuel consumption, tyre and engine wear, temps and reliability properties. Last but not least, the Deddy tool is now available from Steam. As I said earlier, more information. There should, like I said, a complimentary update may follow, depending upon etc. etc. So, for those waiting for the dedicated server, it should be here this week. I haven't actually seen it yet. It hasn't appeared that I'd noticed in the beta bit, so presumably it's going to drop with the EA version, although I'm sure there'll be several people who would like to get on and check it first. What was I about to say? Yeah, things like did I say about the auto clutch? I must have read it. My brain. Yeah, the shift tolerances for semi-auto boxes to avoid. Did I actually read that? To avoid neutral to first gear, not engaging at high revs. I don't remember actually reading that. Basically, what was happening was people using controllers, especially, or those people with systems without a clutch pedal, because you're using auto clutch, you get in something like the Formula Risa and I think the Formula Ultimate, rev the bollocks off it to get off the start line, go and goes the gear and nothing happened. It won't go in, it won't go in, it won't go in. So you had to drop the revs down and nothing would tick over, engage it and then and it would slowly go off the line, whereas now you can give it the berries, bang it in the gear and it'll spin off the line, and it might bog down a bit, but generally speaking it'll get off the line cleanly. So good news. Same with the anti-storm, works a treat. And just to prove it, I have my foot on a clutch. No, yes, it's an H-pattern gearbox. First gear, foot now coming off clutch. Look. Oh look, I've stalled. Now, something like the Formula Risa, Formula Ultimate, they have sort of clever anti-storm, so they shouldn't do that. You should be able to see we're in wets. Thank God. Now I must remember this is the older version of the track, so now I did think some of the reflections in the puddles looked a bit strange. It's almost like the cube map or whatever it is that makes up what's reflected was a little bit out, but I'm not sure if that's just me being odd. Whoa! Going to do a Vettel on the button job there and do my impersonation of Mr. Vettel missing the corner. Now I did try this with the Model 1 or Model 2 with the sequential gearbox, and I was struggling so much to get the damn thing to change gear without the auto clutch yet. I thought I'll go with one with the H pattern. Now I can't remember if this is 6 speed or 5 speed. Brakes are a bit touchy. Puddles don't feel... Puddles don't feel too bad. Understeer, understeer. Don't let me understeer. Now obviously, I've done nothing at all to shout, and under these circumstances I might be going, "Hello Mr. Engineer, would you like to soften my suspension a bit? I think we're going to suffer a bit from having overly hard suspension." But it's still quite drivable. Where the brakes are still decidedly prone to locking. Probably want to move the balance back a bit, maybe. Now, one of the things that was meant to be on there was a little bit more tyre slip effect. Well, I'll be honest, I've messed about with FX, I've done all sorts of things, and I can't feel it at all. So, whether that's just a consequence of how much LFB I've got set or something else as well, I don't know, but I tried FX all the way up to 100, I tried it on about 25, which is what it's on at the moment. Whether it was also the particular couple of cars I tried just don't let the slip effect through particularly well, I don't know. I tried the Aussie V8 and what else did I try? The Formula Risa, and nothing, nada, nout. It seems quite drivable, but I certainly wouldn't want to do this for an hour and a half. How many more laps can I do before I crash? This is the question. I hear you all asking. That was scary. Let's try first, see if it makes any difference. Come on, come on, come on. Bit of curb, bit of curb. Handled quite... How not to speak English. Like I haven't got anything showing my throttle and brake and everything inputs, because you go, oh my god, he's been such a sissy. Our twinkle toe strikes again. Ooh. Well, I have to say that felt and looked actually pretty damn nice. I'm not somebody who spends an inordinate amount of time driving in the rain because at the moment there's no wipers, so it makes it very difficult to see where you're going sometimes. So, but it looks nice. There's clouds whizzing past, nice and grey. So. That'll do for today. Like I said, there might be a bit of an addendum tomorrow, depends what else comes up. But I've got to do a bit of practice for a couple of races, one tonight and one tomorrow. So I'm also looking at doing a little bit on a couple of the new bits and pieces that I dropped for R-Factor 2 in the last few days. So from me, for now, enjoy your racing, stay safe. You can go out now, but only 6 of you together. Well, unless you're in Scotland, in which case it's 2 houses or whatever it was. Or was that Wales? I'm getting confused. But for me, for now, as I said, stay safe, enjoy your sim racing, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.